Hello, I'm Ashley Bauer, and this is your Harnett County Board of Commissioners September 19th meeting recap. County Commissioners kicked off the meeting approving several action items in the consent agenda. These action items included the approval for the Department on Aging to accept additional funding from Mid-Carolina in support of in-home aid program in the amount of $10,084 and the receipt of additional $41,134 in support of the Meals on Wheels and nutrition sites. Approval for the Health Department to accept $1.1 million in COVID 543 funding from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. These funds are used for detection, testing, treatment, tracking, control, and education on COVID. Approval of COVID 361 ELC Reopening Schools Liaison Funds in the amount of $115,000. These funds are to assist the Health Department in hiring a public health school health liaison to coordinate COVID-19 screenings, testing, and vaccine administration efforts in the Harnett County school system for the 2022-2023 school year. Approval of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Fayetteville and the County of Harnett in order to receive 5307 American Rescue Plan Act funding through the Fayetteville Area System of Transit. Approval of the fiscal year 23 NCDOT IMD ROPE application. Approval for emergency services to accept grant funds from the North Carolina Emergency Management fiscal year 2022 Homeland Security Grant Program in the amount of $66,000. Adoption of a resolution modifying the cash deposit requirements of the Harnett County Library branches pursuant to the North Carolina General Statutes 15932. Adoption of a resolution requesting NCDOT to add Scotts Lane in Meadowbrooks, Barkway, Bellini Drive, Fetch Court, Bella Vita Way, Donatello Way, Powder Court, Bird Dog Drive, Pointer Drive, English Springer Drive, and Musket Court in Quail Glen 4A, 4B, and 5, and Planters Lane and Trolley Lane in Cane Mill Estates to the state's secondary road system. Approval to accept $110,553 in grant funding from the North Carolina Arts Council for the fiscal year 2023 Grassroots Arts Program Grant. The approval to accept the resignation of Diane Mangum from the Home and Community Block Grant Committee and appoint Letitia Maynor for District 1 to the volunteer position for the Home and Community Block Grant Committee. The Commissioners also approved the appointment of William Dan Andrews for District 4 to the Board of Adjustment and the appointment of Scott Tart for District 4 to the Planning Board for the member-at-large position. The approval for Dunn Emergency Services to purchase a used aerial apparatus to replace its current ladder truck. The approval of a proclamation recognizing Gold Star Mothers and Families Day on September 25th. And the approval of an interlocal agreement for animal control services with the town of Coates. Next, Commissioners recognized Isaiah Jenkins for efforts to construct a chicken coop at the Harnett County Animal Shelter. This project earned Isaiah his Eagle Scout Award. Next, Commissioners opened a public comment period for citizens to address the board. There were 2 citizens to provide remarks on various topics. Following the public comment period, Commissioners opened a public hearing regarding proposed text amendments to the Harnett County Unified Development Ordinance in order to establish the EdMed Highway Corridor Overlay District. There were 4 citizens to provide remarks. Commissioners voted to table this text amendment to discuss at the October 3rd meeting. Commissioners opened a second public hearing for a proposed zoning change from residential to commercial at the intersection of NC Highway 27 and Bailey's Crossroads Road in Grove Township. There were 7 citizens to provide remarks. Commissioners voted to table this zoning change to the October 3rd meeting. Commissioners then opened a final public hearing for a proposed zoning change from commercial to residential along NC Highway 24 in the Johnsonville Township. There were no citizens to provide remarks. Commissioners voted to table this zoning change to the October 3rd meeting too. Next, Assistant County Manager Coley Price provided the County Manager's Report, which included the Veteran Services Activity Report, Department of Public Health Activities Summary, and interdepartmental budget amendments. Following the county manager's report, commissioners voted to approve budget amendments as requested by the finance director, and they voted to approve tax rebates, refunds, and releases as requested by the tax administrator. Last, commissioners then approved 2 new business items. These items included the approval to accept the awarded North Carolina Department of Transportation Division of Aviation State Fiscal Year 2022 for state aid to Airport Block Grant Program for the terminal building project in the amount of $35,577. Commissioners also approved the amended capital project ordinance to allow the county manager to sign the North Carolina State Grant Agreement associated with this award. They also approved the work authorization number 21-01 for the apron expansion project at the jetport. The next Harnett County Board of Commissioners regular meeting will be held on Monday, October 3rd at 9 a.m. You can watch last night's meeting in full by visiting the Harnett County Government YouTube channel or the County Commissioners webpage at harnett.org/BOC.